Blog Talk Radio.
This big, beautiful blue marble we call Earth, and wherever city you may live in. Welcome to a special edition of the VWU Sports Podcast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to be talking about sports that's been happening on last week. This time, we're doing things a little different. Since this is the last show of 2022, we figured why not we celebrate and take a look back at all the insane moments and craziness that's happened in the year of our Lord that is 2022. Hello, everyone. I am, of course, one of your main hosts of this podcast, one of the bartenders, Jacob B., being joined, as always, with my co-hosts, Carter and Brandon, and as always, with our regulars, Cody and Jose. Gentlemen, welcome to the special.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Time flies, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, gentlemen, I think that this has been a great year in sports. It's been there's a lot of excitement that happened this year. And also, we have to say goodbye to some legends who have gone on home, and also some legends who have called it a career and said so long. So, but the year 2022 is just so much full of a lot to talk about, Jacob. So let's start off with the month of January.
Let's start it off with the month of January and all the insanity that it went through. Starting off with January. What's there to talk about on January, honestly?
Well, first of all, January we saw we had the Winter Classic in beautiful Target Field. It was we saw the Minnesota Wild took on the St. Louis Blues in this year's Winter Classic, and that was a good game. 6 quarters the final of that game. And that was on January the 1st. So
yep, on New Year's Day. And we had a lot of also on January we have had, of course, the tradition continuing on, and it's seventh a year. That we talk about the college football playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because of course they are running back the old school way with the New Year's Six.
And Georgia got their revenge in being Alabama in the national championship game. Hold on, Jacob. I'm going to go ahead and bring in another caller. Go ahead and bring them on in to the bar. Come on in and have a seat, and welcome to our year-end review special.
Thanks a lot, fellas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Thank
to you too,
Louie.
Louie. We are of course looking back at the year that was 2022 on all the insanity. We are starting, as always, with January, and we just left off with Georgia finally getting over the hump that is Alabama, capturing the national championship. Yep.
And now, also, Jacob, I also want to talk about what happened in January when the clown went mad at the Meadowlands when the Buccaneers took on the Jets.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, when he got so mad that he literally took off all his gear and walked out.
Yep.
Well, he did jumping jacks on the end zone, and then he threw up the pizza and walked out.
And then he called for a fucking cab.
And then he just went back to his normal life. Sorry to cut you off, Carter. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, I'll pay for it. He just went back to his normal life like nothing ever happened. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
We're not even going to talk about what his current shenanigans.
Yeah, let's move on quickly.
Yeah.
Wait, we're not gonna pull the bid off enough for the clown.
Yeah, let's not say we did.
No.
Not
we
today.
done
Not today. We'll let this slide just this once.
Yeah.
Now,
give him a little.
Here's the thing. We spoke about legends saying goodbye to the sport. One of them was Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh yeah.
Big
Ben, aka Big Ben, aka here comes Captain Buck.
Yeah, Captain Factfuck, the leader of men, finally called it a career after 20 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers and 2 championships.
I think so. And then the Indianapolis Colts and the rest of Indiana told Carson Wentz to fuck off.
Well, hold off on that for a second, because also We saw in January the most nail-biting NFL playoff weekend ever.
You bet.
Where the Bengals, the 49ers, the Rams, and the Chiefs, they all won their divisional round games on walk-off scores with a combined margin of victory of just 15 points.
Indeed. And we also had another good game as well with the Bills and the Chiefs as well in the title game, which was like the Urinity Tree said, it was a game where unfortunately someone had to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All those were close nail-biters. And, of course, January closed off with Big Papi getting the much-deserved phone call. Going to Cooperstown.
That's right. David Ortiz getting the call and the nod to go to Cooperstown. Had a hell of a career. 3 World Series titles, an World Series MVP, over 500 homers. And as I stated, David Ortiz is now the most famous player to be named later in Major League history. And yes, that's a shocker. He was actually a player to be named later.
Absolutely. But, that's just January. We still got 11 more months to go because we're into February. And, of course, in February, we had the Winter Olympics in Beijing.
The Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. First time Beijing has hosted both the Summer and Winter Olympics in their respective years.
Absolutely. And who could forget Shaun White participating in his final Olympics in his career?
Right.
Oh, man.
What a legendary career. Fatima, he said this, and I quote, "I'm truly thankful to be here and still competing and even getting fourth. I'm proud of it. The future for me is so exciting. There's so much I want to do in my life, so much to do, so much to live for. This is just the beginning." And that was from Shaun White. I mean, the Beijing Olympics, gentlemen, the Winter Olympics was a great. I think our players did well in their respective sports.
Indeed.
Ice skating, hockey.
Hockey was a bit of a hit or miss, to be quite honest. They got their ass knocked out by
I thought the NHL didn't allow their players to go to Beijing this year.
With good reason. Well, with good reason.
So I completely forgot about that. But it was a good Winter Olympics. It was a great job by our players, and hats off to them. It was a good run. Also, during the month of February, Rafael Nadal, I'll pronounce his name right.
Yeah, you got it right.
You got it.
Nadal.
Yeah, Rafael Nadal.
This is at the end of January, but Rafael Nadal, he broke the record for Grand Slam titles. He did it at
yes, he did.
Yeah, he did it in Australia at the Australian Open, and then he did it again in Paris at the French Open just 5 months later. So Rafael Nadal is probably one of the best tennis players we have seen, in our modern lifetime.
Oh, definitely.
That's saying something. That's saying something. Now, of course, on February 13th, we have the Super Bowl.
Of course. And it was the second time in back-to-back years that the host city's team hosted the Super Bowl with the LA Rams taking on the super underdog story that was the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
What
before we talk about the results, I just want to point something out. No one thought that Cincinnati would make it to the Super Bowl.
No,
but
with their underrated offense and underrated defense.
No one expected Cincinnati to make the playoffs.
Exactly. But with their underrated offense and really good defense, they definitely earned their respect. I'm not going to lie.
Well, definitely.
To be fair, Jose, the main reason why they were underrated is because their offensive line was a joke.
Yeah.
That is before I believe it was Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joey B.
Yeah, before Joe Burrow got hit with a brick, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick this franchise up, and I'm gonna die if I don't. That's what he said in his head.
Absolutely.
And that's how he almost single-handedly resurrected the fucking Bengals season. I wouldn't say single-handedly, but, he can't do it by himself.
I was about to say, now, like you said, Jacob, this was the second straight season in which the home team hosted the playoff game. We can thank our lucky stars that there will not be a third year in a row. We can thank our lucky stars for that one.
There will not be a third year. We will have a neutral game for once in our lives.
Yes, because next year's Super Bowl is going to be in Arizona.
And unfortunately, but that's for another episode.
Yes. Now, but the final score, as we brought up, was 23-20. That was one great Super Bowl for Matthew Stafford. Boy, what a career! I mean, he was in Detroit and just wasting away, and he was traded to the Rams during the off season, and he did well for the Rams. Leading into the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure the folks in Los Angeles, they're happy. They were thrilled. The folks in St. Louis, they're still pissed. But that's beside the point.
I'll be honest. I should be happy about that. There was a new champion. If there wasn't the lack of missed penalties that happened in the Super Bowl of all of the games.
And that is true. Now, also in February, there was the NBA All-Star Game, and Stephen Curry was literally shooting the lights out of the building.
Definitely. He will go down as arguably the greatest three-point shooter ever.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, get this statistic in the All-Star Game. Steph Curry was hot out in the box at the All-Star Game. He drained his first three over Trae Young on his way to making a record 16 trays, scoring a nice round of 50 points, and winning the inaugural Kobe Bryant MVP award. I think it was
damn. That's a lot.
Yes, that definitely says a lot for February. Also, in the month of February, there was a Russian tennis player, and this is all what happened between Russia and Ukraine. There was a Russian tennis player who wrote "No war, please" on a TV camera lens.
I think that was during the Euro, if I remember correctly. The Euro League, if I remember correctly about it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it was a Russian tennis player, Jacob.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Russian tennis player. No, it was a soccer player.
Okay, I think the soccer player.
I actually remember that now. It was during the UEFA Euro League where he scored a goal and he literally wrote on the monitor, "No war, please."
Yes, I think you might be right. There was a soccer player that did that, but in this particular story, was the Russian tennis player did that too. In this particular story.
Oh, okay.
And he said,
I would not blame either of them.
Andrei Rublev. If I mispronounce his name, I'm sorry. I'm not too good with Russian. But he said,
I wouldn't blame either of them, honestly.
Yeah, it's not about my match or how it affects me, because what's happening is much more terrible. You realize how important it is to have peace in the world and to respect each other no matter what and be united. Nice work.
That spoke volumes, honestly.
Absolutely. And into the month of March we go. And first of all, San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich, he broke the NBA record for the most wins by a head coach.
He is the most winningest coach in NBA history.
Absolutely. He surpassed Don Nelson. And he won, this was his record then, 1,136th game as head coach. And by the way, Greg Popovich has had a great run so far, fellas. I mean,
he's nominated for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he has a Hall of Fame caliber career. I mean, over 1,137 wins.
Counting.
Five championships.
Yes. I think it's ended too soon. Greg Popovich has a resume worthy to be in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
And look at the players that he coached. I mean, like Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili,
Tony
Parker, fucking
Kawhi Leonard,
the Claw.
Yeah.
He is the man who literally reinvented how to be a head coach. He had a coaching staff that knew how to hit things, limit minutes, and basically made sure that every player on their squad was ready to go.
Oh yeah.
His idea was simple. He didn't want flashy. He wanted effectiveness.
Absolutely. Now, this is a huge mark of accomplishment. LeBron James. This is on March the 13th of this year. LeBron James became the first NBA player with 10,000 career points, rebounds, and assists.
That is first. That is he is.
How do I say 10,000 of each one, a triple double.
The ultimate triple double. Okay, that was the ultimate triple double right there.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
Yeah, I was saying something. And by the way, the only player who's closest is Jason Kidd, who fell 1,275 rebounds shy.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is absolutely saying something.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Yeah. March was something. I do believe once we got to March, also the Stanley Cup playoffs kicked off. Or was that April?
I think that's coming up in April. But,
okay.
But also in March, we saw the launch of the LIV Golf Tour.
54 Golf. Yeah, 54 Golf, which it kickstarted the Gulf Cold War because for the first time in its existence, the PGA Tour had competition. And they were all pissed off.
Yeah, no kidding. Basically, the LIV Tour or the 54 Tour was basically challenging the standard. Basically, in fact, Phil Mickelson, I think he's the commissioner of that tour.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he says, and I quote, please forgive me for my language. They are scary motherfuckers to get involved with. We know that they killed Jamal, the Washington Post journal, because I can't pronounce his last name, and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? You know what? That's a very good question. This is not a political show, so I'm not even going to dive into that.
We're not.
I will say this: money talks.
That's all you need to say. Money talks and bullshit walks. And I will keep saying that until I'm being proven wrong. And unfortunately, my record is undefeated.
Yeah, that's what I say. And also, the thing of it is with the LIV Tour, and, I think Matt asked this question, I think it was yesterday on Discord. He asked the question, when will the PGA Tour and the LIV Tour, come to some sort of agreement? I just simply said it, when they start acting like children. That's the best way I could put it. But man, they're trying to change.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They were trying to change the standard.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, basically because the PGA Tour was the only source of professional golf in the world, honestly.
And of course, since we're in the month of March, one thing we can't forget is March Madness.
Yeah.
What a March Madness it was,
64 hopefuls from four different regions of the United States duke it out for college supremacy and to be able to cut down the net and become national champions.
Yeah, well, technically 68.
You can say that March Madness has become a staple throughout the whole month. Sometimes you lose into the month of April, but, it is what it is. Doesn't need to be nice.
I'd like to say, gentlemen, one school in particular that shocked a lot of people were the Peacocks of St. Peter's.
Yeah. My home state, New Jersey.
I mean, they shocked a lot of. Now, listen to this run that this happened. They beat Kentucky, then they beat Murray State, and then they beat Purdue just to get to the Elite Eight. Now, of course, their run will eventually end in the Elite Eight, but what a run! What a Cinderella run they had.
Yeah.
It's safe to say during that March Madness, if you had St. Peter going all the way to the Elite Eight, either you knew something that we didn't know, or you were just bullshitting your way.
Well,
now,
also
in March,
City, so.
Yeah, that's what I say. Now, also in March, now here's the thing. Christian Eriksen, he rejoined Denmark's national team 9 months after he collapsed on the field as his heart stopped. And
yeah, of course, that was making his grand return after that horrible incident that happened 9 months ago when, like he said, he fell when his heart literally stopped in the middle of play, and they had to literally postpone the game while he was going to the hospital.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm. Now, heading into the month of April, we had to say another so long, and this was to Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Yep. Mike Krzyzewski
the only thing that's a shame about it that it had to come at the Final Four against their old blood rival, UNC.
Yes.
That was.
You hate to see it, but it had to happen sooner or later. You know?
Yeah, that was a kick to the stomach. But, Coach K, 1,202 victories, 5 national championships, 75 NBA players, that he coached.
Say no more, man.
Enough said.
Say
enough
no more.
Said. Enough said.
Pretty much says enough. Also, in April, South Carolina won their second national championship in women's basketball. They're pretty much becoming a dynasty at this point.
Cool.
Second national championship in 5 seasons, and also giving UConn head coach Gino Anorama his first national championship game loss in 12 games. So it's like a new era, like a dynasty going on. Over in South Carolina.
To say South Carolina took the reins that UConn made when they were dominating women's basketball with their reins, and of course the only team to ever hit triple digits in the win column.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Don Staley said, and I quote, "It was divinely ordered for us to be champions today. We weren't going to be denied."
Indeed. Safe to say the world of women's basketball is starting to change for honestly the better, because that means a lot of more schools are actually having a chance to shine.
Oh yeah.
Now, the next day, Kansas won the men's championship. They came back from behind to beat UNC.
Indeed.
Yeah, and that was and get a load of this. Kansas hasn't won the national championship in 15 years almost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's saying something. Because Kansas, they were down 15 at halftime, and then they launched the largest comeback in NBA Finals history, outscoring UNC.
NCAA Finals history.
Yes,
yeah.
NCAA.
Thank you for the correction. Outscoring UNC 31-10 to start the second half. The final score of that game, by the way, was 72-69, and it gave Kansas their 4th national championship. And as you guys brought up, their first title since 2008.
So not as great as the game when the Final Four of the year prior to that.
That's true.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I think we got you there. But yeah, moving on.
Mhm. Now,
yeah.
as we continue on in the month of April, we've seen on the baseball diamond, Miguel Cabrera got hit number 3,000.
Well, yeah.
One rarefied air got to 3,000 hits with the Detroit Tigers, and joins an elite group. Honestly.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And Miguel Cabrera, future Hall of Famer, fellas. You think so?
Possibly.
Wow.
He's had a good career, honestly. The only thing that would have made it a little bit sweeter if him captured a couple World Series titles,
That is
but
true.
shit happens. Speaking of April, I did brought this up. Of course, April brought us the Stanley Cup playoffs.
He did.
And it was something to behold, honestly.
Absolutely. And I like the way how in the Stanley Cup playoffs we've seen like the New York Rangers make a surprise and run all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Not too many people expected the Rangers to go that far, but they did.
Yeah, no kidding. And think about how young the roster is. Like
that just shows that if they can keep that talent like that, they're going to be making recurring trips to the playoffs and possibly make a few Stanley Cup appearances as well.
Yeah. Now, I tell you one thing that was really, really, very hard going into the playoffs, and that was the Colorado Avalanche. I mean,
dude, that wasn't just any avalanche. That was a grade 5 avalanche coming down from the Colorado Rockies, and it just didn't stop.
No, it did not. And I tell you what, I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs were very hard. They were, just right there from the get-go. You could feel the action. The Florida Panthers winning their first playoff series in God knows so long. Of course, we know they didn't advance further, but you know what I mean.
Of course.
But you've seen like Vegas missing the playoffs for the first time in their franchise history, and how quick they're rebounding. We'll talk about Vegas on the next show, but I think that overall though these playoffs were great. I like what's going on. I like what happened, especially once we hit to June and we found out it was the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup final, or the final. So that's saying something. But likewise, as we head into May, the NBA wasn't short-stopping as their playoffs got underway.
Yeah, definitely. And it was one NBA playoffs that you're never going to forget, honestly.
Okay.
Absolutely. First of all, what a great surprise that New Orleans did well in the play-in game, getting into the playoff.
It shows that the upper management knew what they were wanting to do with not only Zion but with their core. And safe to say, New Orleans was saying, okay, we've had a taste of this. Let's see if we can go higher.
Yeah.
And a run like they had could really inspire the team to go further and do more heading into the next season. And we've been seeing that. We've been seeing that so far during this regular season. We've been seeing that. Another team that really raised a lot of eyebrows, Memphis.
Yeah, of course, the Grizzlies.
Absolutely. John Morant, I tell you what, that image of him doing the gritty on the Timberwolves home court after they beat Minnesota in the quarterfinals, that still got me. He was doing the gritty.
Right. That to me is how karma starts.
Yeah, it does, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, sheesh. I mean, that is saying that. I mean, that's saying something. And of course, we saw how the Boston Celtics, how they made their run all the way to the NBA Finals. And, like in dominant fashion, we saw the Phoenix Suns and the way how they made the playoffs. But there's one team in which we have to talk about. This great, they put all the All-Stars together, and they still couldn't make the playoffs. The Los Angeles Lakers.
Blame LeBron.
Yeah.
That's all I should say on this. Blame LeBron, because I said this maybe early, but from the way I see it, from the way they built up that All-Star like group, there's going to be some egos clashing, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Yeah. There was some egos clashing because, you can only get one ball in a basketball game. And you got to deal with Russell Westbrook. You have to deal with Antonio Davis. Wait a minute. Is it Anthony Davis or Antonio? I keep thinking
Anthony Davis, the brow.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, the brow, the former New Orleans Pelican.
So, I had to deal with Anthony Davis getting the ball. LeBron, of course, he wants touches of the ball. So you knew that with all this inconsistency on this team, you knew that there was no way the Lakers was going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, the writing was not only on the wall, it was spray painted on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jacob.
No, I had it, but then I lost it. Sorry about that.
It happens to us all. Now, also, and I really hate to talk about this story, but since it pretty much dominated the year, we have to talk about what happened with Brittany Griner.
That was just a clusterfuck in of itself.
Yeah, but we're just gonna put it this way. When she was arrested in June, because I think she was on her way home to get ready to play for the Phoenix Mercury because she was playing overseas in Russia, and of course, she was like, get ready to come home. They found some drugs in her suitcase, and she was arrested. And they went through this kangaroo court, the sham of a court, put it that way. But and then Russia sentenced her to 9 months in a colony.
9 months. They said 9 years.
9 years. Excuse me. 9 years in a penal colony. Now, thankfully, she's home.
Thank God.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, she is home.
Unfortunately, it did come with a price.
Yeah, and that's the problem. The thing of it is, and this is why I don't like. You have to make a deal. Sometimes you have to make a deal with the devil.
And sometimes the devil will get. Sometimes the devil's demands asking for a lot.
Absolutely. And but we are glad that she is home now. She is with her family, so that is really, really good. Now, onto brighter news. In June, we spoke about the NBA playoffs. In June, in the NBA Finals, Golden State wins another NBA championship.
Yep.
But they're playing pathetic now.
Well, that's true. That's true, Louis, and we will talk about that on the next episode.
Yeah, when we get to But continuing on, congratulations, Arnold, to the Splash Brothers.
I was about to say, Golden State, after failing to make the playoffs in back-to-back years, Golden State, no one didn't expect Golden State to win the NBA Finals again, but they did. They beat Boston in 6 games. Yeah,
and it was Boston's first NBA Finals appearance since, if I remember correctly, 2009. No, it was 2008. 2008.
Actually, it was.
Yeah, I think that was.
Oh, you're right. It was 2009 because they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. But Stephen Curry, won the Finals MVP, by the way, and I still remember last year when Stephen Curry said after Golden State lost in the play-in game against Memphis, I still remember what he said. You do not want to play against this team next year. You know what?
And guess what?
No.
And guess what? And guess what? They came to they went to the finals, and unfortunately, his prophecy came true. You do not want to mess with this team.
Yeah, you can pretty much say it's probably preordained to for Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry
to get
came as
another
a freaking Nostradamus, saying you don't want to. Yeah, you better be prepared for what happens. And that.
Yeah, and I think also another thing to consider about Stephen Curry. I mean, he's having one heck of a career. I mean, 4 championships. I think it's 4.
Four titles.
Mm-hmm.
Great, highest player efficiency rating in NBA history. More three-pointers made than anybody else in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dude literally has a Hall of Fame career, and he ain't even done by a mile.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, but you know what? Like I said, what a great run for Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. I mean, one thing we said throughout that run, you cannot let a team like Golden State go on the run on you, because if you do, you're going to get run right out of the building.
Hell no. You do not give an opening to the Splash Brothers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Now,
no.
Also in June, the Stanley Cup was awarded to the Colorado Avalanche. I mean,
for the Avalanche, and they still hold a perfect record in finals appearances, 3 for 3 in their entire franchise history, defeating the reigning champion Lightning, who were trying to become the first team in decades to three-peat in the NHL.
Absolutely. I mean, they brought Tampa Bay's reign as Stanley Cup champions to an end. I mean,
Indeed,
they beat Tampa Bay in 6 games. That's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
And that is saying something. Now, in college baseball, and this kind of makes me happy because Ole Miss won the college baseball World Series.
They won the College World Series in Omaha, winning the national championship there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they swept Oklahoma to win the championship. It's kind of funny because last year Mississippi State won the College World Series last year. So
basically all of Mississippi's had their taste of the national title.
Yes. Southern Miss won theirs years ago. Mississippi State won theirs last year, and Ole Miss won theirs this year. I don't know whether or not if Jackson State or Mississippi Valley State or Alcorn, or I don't know whether or not if they're going to be in the mood to win a championship. But hey, you never know. Heading into the month of July, and of course in the month of July, almost every 4th of July, either 4th or the 5th, we got the National Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Brother.
Yes, the tradition continues with the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, and it got weird because during the event, somebody ran up onto the stage and tried to do a protest or something.
That's
I know what you're talking about. Joey Chestnut downed 63 hot dogs to earn his 15th national championship. And
it is brought back the mustard belt. And like I said, during the event, some crazy dude got up on stage and was holding a sign or something. I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell. But basically, Joey Chestnut bodied that dude and dropped him down for let the police do the work, you know?
Yeah, he had him in a headlock.
He had him in a headlock, one and a hot dog in the other, and he was still chewing.
I'm saying this. If you're trying to do something stupid like that around Joey Jaws Chestnut, you better not do that.
Yeah, you're just playing yourself, basically.
Yeah, let's look at it this way, gentlemen. I mean, if you got the ball, if you have the balls to go up there and try to interrupt a beautiful celebration, then you deserve to get your tail kicked.
Yeah, you're asking.
Yeah, it was a little tiny sign that said.
I get why he did it. Why they did it. They were trying to raise awareness for some bullshit, or maybe animal rights or whatever kind of bullshit. I don't know. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, do it to somebody else.
There is a phrase you need to remember: time and place. There's a time and a place for shit, and that wasn't it, buddy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now,
and speaking of July,
I was about to say. Also, in July we had the home run derby, and what a showdown!
It was. Yeah.
The Bats were singing All-Star Week with the home run derby, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the home run derby, there's one person that we have to give our salute to. That is to Albert Pujols.
Of course, yes, Albert Pujols in his final home run derby appearance and his final All-Star game appearance. Like we said many times with a lot of other players, he is definitely a worthy man for Cooperstown.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Also, nice job by it was back to the home run derby. It was a showdown between Juan Soto and Julio Rodriguez.
And like I said, the Bats were singing. They started it when the opening salvo hit, and they kept dancing all the way to the moon showed.
Mm-hmm. Now, not surprisingly, after the All-Star break, Juan Soto was traded to the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, he was. It was for a almost king's ransom for the trade.
Yeah, and last I heard, the family that owns the Nationals organization is looking to sell them.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the Nationals could be up for sale from what we heard in July, honestly, and we've been speculating who could be the rightful person or people to purchase the Nationals, and what should they do with them?
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, heading into the month of August, and
you missed something, Carter. Unfortunately, this happened at the end of July. Unfortunately, we lost arguably one of, if not the greatest big man to ever grace the courts. 11-time champion, multiple times.
Bill
big
Russell.
Big activist for civil rights. The big man himself, Bill Russell, passed away at the end of July, and it was a big shock to the NBA world because, like we said, he was he was a huge civil rights activist. He's a Medal of Freedom winner, 11-time champion, honorably the greatest big man to ever grace the courts, and the NBA decided to do something that should have been done a long time ago. They became now the third if I remember correctly, the third sports league in the United States to retire a number permanently, joining the MLB and the NHL by retiring Bill Russell's number 6 league wide, and it was honestly one of the most honorable and beautiful things I've ever seen for that man.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob, because I was about to give it a head. I thought that Bill Russell's passing was coming up,
no, he died on the
I didn't know it was in July.
He died on the 31st, and it was announced the next day.
Okay, then. All right, thank you, Jacob. Now,
he was 88.
Speaking of legends, we have to talk about Vin Scully.
Yeah.
And as much of a legend, and he really was, and Bill Russell was a legend on the court. Vin Scully was a legend on the mic.
Yeah, and his voice was led to arguably a lot of the most memorable moments in baseball history. Lest we forget '86 in the World Series when the Mets came back to win it all, or him calling Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's record of 714 homers, and so on and so forth.
Or McGuire, rather,
or
of course Gibson. Gibson home run.
Kirk Gibson's homer in Game 1 of the '86 World Series against Oakland. When Kirk Gibson was battling a legit hernia. It was pinched hit in the bottom of the ninth. Couldn't barely walk, and yet blasted one out of right field to give the win to the Dodgers.
Absolutely. And you know what? He was a great announcer for the Dodgers. And, like we said, he didn't just call baseball games. I think he called a couple of football games too.
Oh, you're right. He did do a couple of football games. If I remember correctly, the one that comes to my mind the best was when the Rams were playing in Anaheim over at Anaheim Stadium before they went to St. Louis. First play. Was a kick return touchdown, and he said, and I quote, "What a way to start the year."
That is true, but like I said, he was dearly missed by every fan that enjoyed listening. That enjoyed listening to baseball.
It didn't matter.
He can make you feel like as if you were there.
That was the best. Yeah. That was the thing about Vin. He had that niche to find a way to bring you feel like you're at the stadium and you're watching it from the watching it in the seats. That was that edge that not many announcers had to make you feel like you're actually there.
Yeah, I can think of a few announcers around sports that actually had that kind of feature. One of them being John Madden.
Of course. Yes. We'll get to John Madden. Oh God, John Madden. I feel like we should have done this. I feel like we should have done this earlier in the year because, John Madden, man himself.
And I think that obviously, and this will be a future discussion on down the road. If we make a Mount Rushmore of announcers, you would definitely put Vince Scully and John Madden up there side by side.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Now, also in the month of August.
Let's get back to August. Let's get back to the good side, shall we?
Yes, focus, brothers.
I was about to say, also in the month of August, we had another Field of Dreams game.
Yes, we did.
The Cubs and the Reds, and both teams actually decided to wear throwback jerseys, and I'm talking about way back in the day. I'm talking about early 20th century jerseys, and and honestly, they were really good. Honestly, sure they were simple, but it worked. Honestly,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great game. Now, also in the month of August, who could forget the kicker around the world?
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It was the UFC fight between, I'm going to pronounce the name wrong.
Yep.
Kamaru
Usman. I think it was for like the middleweight. I think it was like either the middleweight or light heavyweight championship.
Welterweight.
Oh, the welterweight title. Thank you. And it was a great fight right up to the moment where, like you said, I don't know the names as well.
Kamaru
Usman and the
Leon Edwards,
where Usman literally kicked the soul out of his opponent in that one cock roundhouse to the jaw.
Hold on, Jacob. Flip the script. It was Edwards that delivered that kick.
Oh, it was Edwards, but still, that was one of the most memorable moments for the UFC, and it just proves that any fight can go any direction with just one good hit.
Leon Edwards, right?
Yeah. It was just and we learned that after the fight, Usman had to literally get his jaw wired shut just because of that. And since then, he said, "I am looking forward to the rematch." And honestly, buddy, you ain't wrong. All of us wants to see the rematch.
Oh,
absolutely, man, no kid. Now,
by the way, I'm looking at this moment blind that you guys were talking about. So, like a few seconds.
Now,
just wait
in the month of September, we saw two tennis greats called it a career.
Yeah.
Roger Federer and Serena Williams.
Honestly, they both earned what they keep.
They were the masters of their respective sides of the courts, honestly. And sure, not a lot of people will be saying, "Oh, they didn't win as many Grand Slams as they should have been." Well, yeah, but here's the thing: titles mean one thing, but stats means a lot more.
Yes, and Serena said this. I think it was on the match of Richie, her final matchup at the U.S. Open. What a great way to retire, by the way, the U.S. Open. But she said, "These are happy tears, I guess. I don't know. And I wouldn't be Serena if there wasn't Venus. So thank you, Venus. She's the only reason Serena Williams ever existed. It's been a fun ride. It's been the most incredible ride and journey I've ever been on."
Indeed.
And likewise, Roger Federer, what a career for him, because he's won numerous championships. I mean, the numbers are just staggering. Now, before we continue on in the month of September, we also have to, do a quick recap of what happened in the NFL offseason.
Oh, God.
And we've seen trades everywhere. We saw Russell Wilson go to Denver.
Yep. Russell Wilson gone to Denver, and on paper, and I mean this, on paper, it was a ballsy move. It was a ballsy move by Pete Carroll.
But it looks like Pete Carroll saw something that we didn't see when he made the trade and said he was going to start Geno Smith.
Absolutely. And also, when we thought before the season got started, we thought that the AFC West was going to be wide open.
The AFC West was going to be no, not wide open. It was literally a crapshoot because all four teams of the AFC West, we all thought were going to be going tooth and nail, blood for blood, for a shot for a playoff spot.
Yeah, well, I think here we are, December the 21st, 2022, and I think it's safe to assume we don't know a damn thing about football because, man. The season didn't go the way how most people expected in that AFC West. We're going to full detail next year, but
at the same time, who expected the NFC East to be
not just the NFC East, but both sections, NFC and AFC, will be the conferences, the divisions you want to keep your eye on. Okay.
That's saying something. Now, Also, in the month of September, let's not forget Albert Pujols. Number 700.
Albert Pujols, just on the last day of the season, right before the playoffs, finally cracked 700, becoming the fourth man in Major League history to hit 700 homers, joining, of course, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, and now him.
That's saying something, but you know what?
And that's not all that happened as well, because we got it. All rise, because Aaron Judge cracked 62. He broke the American League record for single season homers with 62 dingers. 62 dingers right before they went to the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, that's answer. Now, we also got to talk about the most funniest thing you will ever see on the football field.
God.
It was the punt that bounced off the lineman's backside and went on back to the end zone. And those, if I remember correctly, that was Miami and Buffalo, if I remember correctly.
And it was they were deep in the end zone. They had to punt, or else they were punt because they had no other choice. And yet, for some weird reason, the punt hit the defender right in the ass.
Oh my God!
Eureka! We have found the ultimate meme.
It wasn't the butt fumble. It was the punt fumble.
Yeah. They call it the butt punt because
the butt punt. But thankfully, it did not help. It did not give Miami the loss because they stood it out and beat the Bills, saving their asses from being forever memed.
Yeah. Miami won that game 21-19. So,
yeah, definitely.
I can still imagine though, Miami still get memed despite the victory.
True.
Now,
they still are the hell and back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Also, we can't forget about speak about Miami. What about that injury to Tugilea?
That was the moment where we all said, and we quote, that the NFL needs to wake up on this concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Because literally the dude had literal brain damage and was literally his hands were literally stiffened and cramped and couldn't move.
And then the
only sad part to that is that Tua wasn't named what's that guy's name? Tomoki Hanma.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now,
if you get
Jacob,
the joke, then you get it.
Yeah, that's what I think. Now, Jacob, you brought about Aaron Judge. He hit his 62nd home run in the month of October the 4th. As a matter of fact.
Oh, thank you. I do apologize. I thought it was at the end of September.
Mm-hmm. It was on October the 4th when he hit the 62nd home run. I mean, sheesh, that was saying something. And by the way, he would be re-signed with the Yankees after the season.
9 years, $360.
Yeah, 9 years, $360 million. That says a lot out of itself. But yeah, moving on.
Now also in the month of October, we saw some upsets on college football. One of them was Alabama and Tennessee.
Yeah, what a walk-off knuckleball field goal, which led to the Vol Nation to storm the field, get a fat $250,000 fine for it. But it was nothing to behold, honestly.
Mhm. Yeah, what happened was that the crowd took the goalpost down.
And literally hooked it into the Tennessee River.
Mhm. Now, remember one of the videos I was watching? It was this comedy video, and it was saying, and the guy that hosted, he said, "Sorry, I'm late. A goalpost just washed up on the other side of the interstate." So, but what a season Tennessee had. Great start. You knew at some point they was going to lose to Georgia at some point, but what a run they had, and they stayed in the playoff hunt until they got clobbered by South Carolina.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And Alabama thought they had a chance until they met us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean that's saying something. And also in October we got to talk about the World Series and the way how Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Let me take care of this one because I feel a little proud on this one. The Phillies of Philadelphia. Who would have thought that team, who hasn't been to the World Series since they won it since they won it back in in the late 2000s.
2008 to be exact.
Yeah, 2008 would make it all the way to the big dance, but unfortunately they fell to the Giants, known simply as the Houston Astros. But I can now officially say they actually won a championship without cheating. So, fuck you, hit kid.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Houston was a well-rounded team. Although Carlos Correa left for a pot of gold in Minnesota that actually would led him to a golf course.
Yeah, that turned into a pot.
But who the hell needs him? Who the hell needs him? Jeremy Pena was waiting, and
that just revolted the team, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it did. It didn't. Here's the thing. Carlos Correa, when he left, Houston's like, yeah, okay, Jeremy, your turn.
Pena, you're
like
up.
you said, next guy up. Also, we can't close out the month of October without talking about Michigan and Michigan State. And
oh my God!
Yeah, the controversy that surrounded that because a couple of players were having a little too much fun in the tunnel.
Yeah, absolutely. A brawl broke out following Michigan State losing to Michigan 29-7,
and you knew that fight was going to happen since we both know that these two college teams hate each other.
Yeah, East Lansing and Ann Arbor, there is no love. There's a reason why I called their rivalry Motor City Mayhem. It lives up to the hype.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring this up. 8 players were suspended. 7 of those 8 players that were suspended, they're facing assault charges. And Michigan State was fined $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Enough said. Yeah, and Michigan, on the other hand, was actually, no, we'll talk about, that's later. Yeah, Michigan would somehow continue their run all the way to the playoffs.
Absolutely. As we head into
when you guys are talking about, sorry to interrupt, but you're guys talking about the month of September, right?
Where we just finished.
We're headed to the month of November.
Oh,
but go ahead.
Yeah.
November now. Wow, I must keep up real quickly. Come on.
Now, in the month of November, we were discussing about the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies. It was in the month of November when the Astros won the World Series, and Dusty Baker became the oldest manager / head coach to win a title in American sports.
Yes.
He was 73, man. I mean,
here's the thing about Dusty Baker, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Dusty Baker. Not many people would like his decisions, but at least you can say that since the 80s, he has felt the one thing that he's always wanted to feel, and that is a hard-earned championship. Especially with the players behind him.
Oh,
Houston
definitely.
Is a well-oiled machine, and that's without saying.
Yeah, that says a lot in itself. Oh,
absolutely. And also, he said, and I quote, "I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. Stay around long enough, it's got to happen." And Dusty Baker, he did a great job. He was manager of the Giants. He was manager of the Reds. He was manager of the Cubs. He was manager of the Nationals. Now, as manager of the Houston Astros, he did a great job in this run. So, I mean, that's saying something. It's great to see him winning his first championship.
To say that Dusty Baker earned his keep is an understatement because he really did.
Indeed.
Now, also in the month of November, I hate this story, but we have to talk about it. There was a shooting that happened over at Virginia.
Yeah.
These guys don't know anything about gun safety. Just put them away. Damn it.
Exactly.
It's America.
Go ahead.
Pause. Literally, 5% of the world's population owns a firearm, and most of it is here. So what do you mean?
Yeah, He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
That's true, gentlemen, but this is not a political podcast. However,
I know, but I'm just saying because that's just cold hard facts.
Yeah, it was tough. Virginia lost 3 football players. 3 football players were shot and killed. Less than 24 hours after the shooting, thousands of students gathered on South Lawn for a silent candlelight vigil. Hope I pronounced that right.
Visual.
Yeah, thank you.
Visual.
In memory of Devin Chandler, Deshaun Perry, and Lavelle Davis Jr. And you hate to see it. I mean, I hate to see it.
We all do. You kidding me?
Yeah. So, but
it's not just that we hate to see it; we hate to have it happen.
That is true. That is very, very true. Also, in the month of November, fellas, it snowed in Buffalo, and it snowed to the point to where the NFL said, "Yeah, we gotta move this game."
And it snowed. Buffalo got hit with a massive blizzard that got up to past 6 feet.
I know, gentlemen.
Okay. We can't do this in Buffalo. We got to find those spots for you to play.
Hold on, Jacob. Louis, we thank you for joining us on the show. We really, really do, and we really hope that you have a very happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. And hopefully, we hope that you join us next year.
Indeed. And as always, go give Louis some love. Go check out the Enhanced Sports Podcast every Saturday from 5 Eastern.
Well, we're off until at least sometime in January, but I'll get back to you on that as soon as we figure all the details.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, still, if you ever get a chance, go check out the Enhanced Sports Podcast. Look it up wherever you watch your podcast. Give them a call, 513-543-46.
Well, the number may be changed, but I'll explain it all when the year comes.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Louis.
Thanks again, Louis.
All right. Now, Jacob, go ahead. Go ahead. What you were saying about the Buffalo, because Buffalo, that was about 80 inches of snow.
Over 6 feet of snow just hitting the Buffalo area to the point where they had to reschedule and remove the game from Buffalo to Detroit. And here's the thing, you got to give props to Bills Mafia, because they went above and beyond to make damn sure that their Bills boys got to Detroit to play their game.
Hey, that's called dedication right there.
Heck, even the Bills Mafia posted the whole documentary on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, they were literally decided to grab the shovels, grab whatever they could get, and was just trying to dig away, trying to help the Bills team to get to the airport, and they did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, at the same time, they went to Walmart and bought every single table they got.
Damn it.
That's a good one. The Bills did go on to beat Cleveland 31-23. So
yeah, definitely. But yeah, it just shows that fans, sure, they could get a little rowdy with their teams, but when they see that they need help, they will come in droves to help out their boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is called dedication.
Yeah.
But speaking of November, the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, was it heartwarming.
You're not wrong.
Heartwarming for some, but...
Yeah, I was about to say, because the World Cup got underway.
I'm not talking about... I wasn't talking about the games. I was talking about, the little clips that they played of, just John Madden in general, and what he meant to... Not only
that's fine.
the whole, but
it was wonderful.
Exactly, yeah. He meant everything to not only just the holiday Thanksgiving, but just to the games that were played on the Thanksgiving weekend.
He was the man who helped innovate and help move NFL into the modern era. Okay.
Exactly.
Because when he was not playing, when he retired as a head coach, he made damn sure that the broadcasting side of football moved up. Okay, he was the man who brought us to Telestrator. You know, he was the man who was the prototype for now the modern NFL broadcasting. He was the man who was breaking down plays, telling what could happen on this stuff, and he can be funny on the side too when he wants to. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you
not
know
to mention his love for good food.
Yeah, I was about to say also. I mean, the way how he did with Pat Summerall, that says something. I mean, those two were legends. I'm pretty sure somewhere Pat Summerall and John Madden are having a ball.
Yeah, with all the legends playing their games up at the big house, and they're just having the time of their lives.
We said something during one of these weeks, and I believe it was one before the Bills and Vikings game, that he said if John Madden was still alive, him and Pat Summerall was still alive, these two have been calling this game because you know that it'd be a heavyweight bout.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember that, actually. Yeah, I think so.
And, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say it's one of the greatest games of this fucking decade.
Yeah. Now, also,
moving along.
I was about to say with the World Cup. It started, I think it started sometime before Thanksgiving. And the run just ended. The run just ended just a couple of days ago. But what a World Cup, because we saw Messi step
Lionel
up.
Messi.
Yes.
And
Lionel Messi.
Not only did he step up, but you saw a lot of soccer teams coming out from nowhere. Morocco going on a Cinderella run. No one didn't expect them to beat Spain, but they did. But they made it all the way to the semifinals, and they lost to France. But
Speaking of France,
and I was thankful for bringing that up, Jose. France and Argentina played a couple of days ago in a legendary final for the World Cup.
It was.
Yeah.
Everything was on the line.
Here's the thing. We can gripe and groan on where it was taking place and all the BS with rights and all that stuff. But unfortunately, you can't take away that Qatar gave us arguably one of the greatest World Cup tournaments in history.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't. And here's the funny thing. When it went down to sorry about that.
Penalty kicks?
But when it came down to penalty kicks, you could say that Argentina was automatic when it comes to penalty kicks, because if they would have missed at least slightly, it would have been a lot more electric, if you catch my drift.
But overall, though, fellas, but like I said, it was a great run. Messi finally got that monkey off his back. So
he earned it,
despite kicking a Mexico soccer jersey. But hey, maybe that can go away without repercussions. Don't lie to me. You know it's going to be repercussions for that.
Yeah,
I was about to say
that, and also arguing with the officials about some calls.
Not to mention the fact that Argentina and the Netherlands almost got into a fight. So
yeah.
Oh boy.
And now we move on. I do believe it's now time to hit December.
Yeah. Here we are in the month
And mind if I touch this off?
Go
ahead.
At that moment when it comes to, well, you know where I'm going to go to first.
Well, we are in January. We are in December, so that means one thing and one thing only. Well, we got to sharpen axes.
Yep, we got to open up the elimination station, open up the Death Note, everything. Everything to have the elimination begin.
Because there's going to be a lot of teams that's not going to be going to the playoffs this year.
Yep.
First of all, we don't have to worry about Arizona hosting the Super Bowl. The Arizona Cardinals playing in the Super Bowl this year because
they're eliminated. Well, let's start from the beginning of the eliminations. And I'm sorry to stop you there, Carter, but I want to start from the beginning of the eliminations, from the best tank that was made by human hands today.
Yep, the tank of all tanks, the Houston Texans, were the first to the chopping block. But honestly,
that was expected.
Yeah, you kind of figured. Yeah, let's move down.
You think their goal for this whole? Do you think the goal from the very existence is to get the number one draft pick and then win a Super Bowl?
No, I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, this is Houston, what we're talking about here. So, but also joining the elimination station were the Chicago Bears.
Yep. Justin Fields can only do so much, and unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
I mean, they need to get him some help, and the sooner the better.
They have potential with Fields. It's just that they need a lot of help protecting that bastard.
Yeah, they do.
And of course, next team up on the elimination station, Denver.
I think Carter, for this one, we'll leave it to Mr. Blanco. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are happy. I'm just going to say this now, right? I think everyone could agree with me here. You
had the Broncos?
$250 million on someone. Okay, I'm going to be honest. You could have drafted him when he was on the board, but you drafted somebody else. You waited until this year to trade him for two draft picks with Seattle. Yeah, King's ransom, basically. But then But then you hired Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep.
Have you not seen his record when it comes to the past 4 years, back to 2017, 16, something like that?
Yeah. That says enough.
Are you not looking? Are you not looking? Look where that gets you. Look where that gets you. I mean, sure, you got like 1, 2 flukish wins, but you lost to the Colts.
But
you lost to Carolina.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The high side is on this one. The team they traded for Seattle, traded for Wilson, has been on the improbable run of the year. Could possibly make the playoffs and still have a chance for a top 5 draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like Seattle's basically saying, yeah, sure, here, take the weight off my back, and Denver's like, this is too much. I'm not surprised, honestly, because.
And meanwhile, Pete Carroll is like, it's got that Grinch grin on, and he's like, okay, now we can work. And he said, okay,
exactly. Now,
okay, Gino,
yeah. Let me go ahead.
Speaking of gas, sorry to cut you off, Carter. But speaking of gas, the Detroit Lions.
Who would have thought that Detroit would be having the season they would be having? We all thought that Detroit would be like just another year for them, just full of misery and pain. Now
they held up against Buffalo. They beat the Giants. They beat the Jets. That's enough to say we're back and we want to be in the postseason with all you big motherfuckers, and we will die if we don't.
Safe to say.
And to be honest.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the Lions to get to the postseason.
Being the laughing stock of the NFC, and started saying, "All right, let's do this."
I tell you guys what, if Detroit doesn't make the playoffs this year, next season,
if they can keep a lot of their core for next season and keep work on what they need to be fixing, beware. Because those Lions are sharpening their teeth.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting dangerous.
All I can say is if, because you know the Ford family. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Bastards.
So,
yeah.
Overall, though, back to the main point. This has been a great year. It's
been a very unique year, to say the least.
Yeah. And we did have to say goodbye to Bill Russell, Vince Scully, and today we have to say goodbye to Franco Harris.
Franco Harris, who helped
he
complete the Immaculate Reception back in 1972 against the Raiders on Christmas, I do believe Eve or Day, to help secure the Steelers to go to the playoffs and start off their amazing Steel Curtain dynasty. Unfortunately passed away just days before the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jacob, how cool is fate? He was supposed to have his jersey retired in a couple of days.
On the day of. That's what we call irony, right? That's what we call the ultimate form of irony.
Yeah, so fate is cool.
Fate's a cruel mistress, but
yeah.
So
but you know what? I'll say this: Franco Harris. You have to say that if not been for him making that Immaculate Reception onto the end zone, Pittsburgh might not have won their 4 Super Bowls during the 70s.
We might not have seen the dynasty. We would not have seen the Steel Curtain dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but,
we could have seen the Raiders make their own dynasty, but that's just neither here nor there. You know?
That is true. But before we turn the lights out on this bar, we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, fans, for tuning in and listening to our show this year. Needless to say, this year has been a blast, especially for us here at the bar. You know, this year has been great. This year has been a blast.
I want to do one thing before we turn the lights out and head off somewhere else. I want to know from everyone here, what is the worst moment, in your opinion, the worst moment in all of sports? Let's start with Jacob.
Ooh, that's a good question. There's been a lot of bad moments for me in sports, but if I had to break it down to different leagues, for baseball, it was of course Trashgate with the Astros. Ooh, that was a stinker. That was a black eye right there. For football, I got 2 words for you. No call.
Carter?
Enough said.
Carter, what about you? What is the worst moment in sports history, in your opinion?
The worst moment.
Yes.
This year.
Yes, this year.
This year. I had to agree with Jacob. Ref ball, because we have seen way more than our fair share of we saw within the past the penalties that aren't even there.
Or even barely even counts that registers as pass interference.
Yes.
We've seen controversial catches. You know, controversial.
So ref ball in general. I think that's the worst moment. Not just this year, but probably throughout history.
Brother?
I think that.
Brother, what do you think? I just want to go around to one person, so go everyone once. Brian?
You gotta go. Someone tells me you gotta go to within the March Madness, because I remember one time that I don't know who was playing Texas A&M at that time, but at that time Alex Caruso was still playing with Texas A&M, and it was them against, I believe it was UNI. And
Northern Iowa, or Northern Illinois. I could be wrong.
It was either one. UNI choked away what was a big time lead to have Texas A&M win the advance at OT.
And now, well, Cody, you haven't had a chance to talk all night. Go for it, man. What was the worst moment in your opinion this year?
Yeah, make it quick because we don't have that much time left on the show.
Matt Ryan blowing a 33-point lead.
Fair enough.
Well, for me, it will have to be either the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roughing the passer call against the Atlanta Falcons. Everyone knows that was bullshit. That 33-point lead, as Cody said. But I think the one that still bothers me is basically the whole season of the NFL is trying to figure out what is a catch and what isn't a catch.
What?
Think of your minds, please.
Anyways,
that time.
The best and the worst of this.
Let's get the credit, shall we?
Yeah. I think it's about time for us to wrap up. This has been arguably one of the craziest years of recent memory in the world of sports, and safe to say that next year is going to continue where we left off. But But I want to say this. We want to say, as Carter said, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to listening to us all year long with the VWU Sports Podcast. This has been one heck of a year, I can say the least. We've had our ups and our downs. We haven't been doing weekly, but hey, life sucks and we got to deal with it. But as always, we would love to hear from you guys, whether it's on Discord or give us a call, 516-666-9955. Tell us what we can do to help make 2023 even better for the VWU Sports Podcast. And as always, we will be here on Blog Talk Radio, every Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, or 7:30 if we got a big show. And tune us in. If you want to listen to our past episodes, go for it. Video on demand, always on Blog Talk Radio, iHeart, and Spotify. But until then, this is the last episode of the year, and we will see you. And we are going to take next week off because we will see you guys in January for the first week of the first episode of 2023. Till then, gotta say goodbye.
Before that, I gotta get some from behind the bar. 1 second.
What are you getting?
Go to your families, lads. You know what that means.
Happy holidays, VW fans.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Happy holidays to everyone. For Jose, Brandon, Carter, and Cody, I'm JB. We wish you all a happy holidays. Enjoy your loved ones, and we will see you guys in 2023. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. See you later,
Merry
boys.
Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Indeed.
Oh, boy.